Before we get into some Titans trade rumors that are circulating out there, we are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers here on the channel. We are 342 away as of filming. I'm pretty sure there's 300 plus of you who are going to watch today's show and yet are not subscribed. Let's change that. Hit that sub button right now for more free Titans YouTube videos. And what shouldn't really surprise any of you, we're going to start off with DeAndre Hopkins trade conversations. From a national NFL perspective, media, other fan bases, etc., with Amari Cooper off the trade market, Davante Adams off the trade market, Hopkins now becomes one of the more potentially intriguing available players before we get to this year's NFL trade deadline. Now, Hopkins' numbers this year have been a little bit down relative to previous seasons. He's got 20 targets, 14 catches, though, a much better ratio than what Calvin Ridley has. Only 175 yards. I think it is safe to say the overall not great play from the quarterback and the quarterback room, frankly, have led to a decline in Hopkins' production. I still think in a better offense, but with a better quarterback, he can be a 1,000-yard wide receiver. And what Tennessee is now trying to juggle is this. What is the benefits of getting a draft pick back for Hopkins versus having another good playmaker to see just how good or not good Will Levis can end up being? The latest reporting comes to us from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. This was from today in one of his insider pieces. The Chiefs like DeAndre Hopkins in 2023 free agency, but Tennessee isn't eager to deal him as of now, and he likes playing in Tennessee. I don't get the sense he's angling to get out of there. That gives the Titans more time to consider, whether they accept it or not, a potential trade there. Let's get some predictions for me in the comments section of today's show. Do you think the Titans will end up trading away DeAndre Hopkins? It is the pinned comment, so if an ad comes on YouTube, just fine, take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes, they will, N for no, they will not. Go vote. The ad comes here on YouTube. Again, the Titans are not in any rush. They have time. They don't have to make an urgent, trigger-pulling decision unless they get blown away by an offer, which I don't know if that's going to end up happening. The one benefit to waiting as well here is you end up paying a little bit more, but the contract cost drops each week for DeAndre Hopkins by a little over $500,000, about $55K, or $550K, excuse me. $6.01 million if he's traded before this upcoming week, down to 5.46, 4.92, 4.37 as we get closer to the NFL trade deadline. So as that contract cost drops, you do have less team control for the team that acquires him. You don't get as big of an impact, but does save them salary cap space. So there is some give and take on that front. Now, we do know what I think the general trade market looks like right now for wide receivers. The Amari Cooper trade was for a third-round pick. There's some other moving pieces in there as well. The Davante Adams trade was a third-round pick. Does that mean Hopkins gets one? Maybe, maybe not. Teams might not view him as good of an option. The contract is more cheaper than Adams, also more expensive than Amari Cooper's. So I want honest answers on this particular question. What draft pick do you think DeAndre Hopkins is worth in a trade right now? Is it a 3? Is it a little bit less? Is it maybe you think it's worth more? Let me know in the comments of today's show. Let's talk Jeffery Simmons trade. So I'll recap how things can get bent out of shape sometimes. A to Z Sports listed Jeffery Simmons as a possible trade candidate for the Tennessee Titans. They looked at 10 candidates who could generate interest. And that is what got lost when I saw other outlets say A to Z Sports projects a trade of Jeffery Simmons. That's not actually what they did. What they did was look more at, hey, does this team have interest, or is he going to generate interest from outside the organization? Now, the headline was, will they or won't they be dealt? The actual article itself, when you read it, was, would they realistically have a buyer? So it was, if you wanted to trade them, could you find a partner? You could obviously find a trade partner for Jeffery Simmons. In fact, I would be demanding a significant haul for him because I think trading him would be a mistake. I think your defense is actually really good right now. I have been very impressed with how they've played, despite being hamstrung and put in bad spots on a pretty consistent basis by the offense. Simmons' numbers don't jump off the screen right now. Only 3 TFLs, a sack. I think anyone who watches the film of this stuff, and even outside the Titans, bubble, always comes away impressed with what Jeffery Simmons is able to do. So I frankly don't have any interest in trading him because, the season might end up being a wash. He might be picking the top 5, top 10, whatever. He can be here for me next year and can be a huge part of what I try to do in 2025. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. So don't waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. As a reminder, ticket prices often drop the closer you get to your event. And in Tennessee's case, they might drop a lot if they don't start finding some ways to win some games. So make sure you're using the Game Time Picks feature. It is curation designed to save you even more on sports, but also concerts, comedy, theater, everything else that falls in between. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So what are you waiting for? Download the Game Time app today, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, for $20 off. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Download Game Time today because time is it. It's game time. We're back with Treylon Burks trades once again. NFL.com listing him as one of the 7 quote-unquote intriguing players who could be available. The only reason why Treylon Brooks is intriguing is because he was a former first-round pick. And beyond that, boy, the results have been ugly. I have to be honest on this, so I apologize to Burks, but it's true. His snap counts have dropped again this year. He's got 8 targets for 4 catches, 34 yards, and per Pro Football Reference, he has 2 drops. Brother, that's so bad. You can't be doing that out there. I still think he's miscast. I think he would be best as a big slot, but the production's gotten worse every year of his NFL career. I have been really disappointed by the play of Treylon Burks. I think everyone watching has been disappointed by the play. I am open to listening to offers for him. Even if you move on from Hopkins, you could maybe give Burks some more playing time there. Maybe playing the young guy makes some sense too to see if he can show anything. I don't know if anyone wants him right now. No one's adding him thinking, this is our number 3 receiver. He's like the 4th or 5th best guy on a bad passing offense. That's not very good. So, before we move on, name a player who you want to trade for. Trade away. Trade away because we're talking sellers, Tennessee sellers, my bad. Name a player you want to trade away in the comments of today's show. A name I didn't expect to be talking about is Tony Pollard. NFL.com, namely Maurice Jones-Drew, who I love his mock drafts. They're always so bad in a funny way. He argued a Tony Pollard trade to the Cowboys could make sense, but he didn't really break down the Titans angle of it. So we will discuss that for him. Tajay Spears is banged up right now, has the hamstring. I would be moderately surprised if he played this week. Whenever you hear week to week, that tells me, okay, he's going to miss at least a game. That's what that normally tells me. Beyond him, it's Julius Chestnut, got Jabari Small. They've signed Joshua Kelly to the practice squad. It's a bad running back room with Spears and Pollard. With Spears hurt, and if you were to trade away Tony Pollard. Pollard looks better this season than what he did last year. He's at 4.3 yards per carry, and he's actually, I thought, had 2 pretty good games in a row after being basically ignored in the Packers game. And frankly, you ignore the Packers game, and I think that those numbers looked a lot better overall. Coming off 93 yards on 17 carries, he's been the clear-cut number 1 back. He hasn't been as efficient as he was back in 2022 and 2021 with the Cowboys, but he's still, I think, a top 20-ish runner at minimum right now in the NFL. And if you want to go based on what Maurice Jones-Drew thinks, since he always does those running back rankings, he's got Pollard down there. Not too terribly bad. It's outside the top 15, so and somewhere in that top 20. The contract is movable, though. He's got a $4 million cap hit this year. The total dead money is $6 million. It's actually a little bit different on the dead money and the savings because you've paid some of that already. So, asterisk it. You take 4 of the dead money this year or 2 of the dead money this year and 4 next year. So you kind of don't have great outcomes. You save a little bit each year. You'd have to get a pretty good draft pick back, I think. The new team could afford him. He's due $2.5 million the rest of this year, 6.5, 7.5. But if I'm Tennessee, I think Pollard is a multi-year piece. And even if I'm a seller, which I think I am, I'm not selling multi-year pieces. So from the Titans' perspective, not a huge fan.